Hi, my name is Jam, also known as Ben, and today I am at my son David Jacob West's grave, and he was born April the 11th, 2008, and he died September the 15th, 2008, so he was 5 months old. Today I brought some flowers, so we're going to put some flowers here. Also, I had written a letter to my wife. So the letter that I wrote to my wife and my kids, my current wife and kids, not David, but my current wife and kids, I wrote a letter to them, and I've let them read the letter, but I also put it here as a witness at his gravesite. I got some flowers, so I'm going to put some flowers out for David. I've never put flowers on his grave before, but today I kind of felt like spending some time with him, so I wanted to come and to spend some time with him, so that's what I'm doing. So he'd be 16 years old this year, so he's not a little kid. He'd be a teenager, probably be a senior in high school. Man, that's hard to believe. A senior in high school. But got these yellow flowers. Kind of put these around the letter. Separate them out a little bit so it's a little prettier. Make it pretty for David. So David was born, and he was a happy baby. He was very happy. He had an Elmo blanket, a blue Elmo blanket, and he always had that blanket. He always smiled. He always laughed. So while he only lived on this world a short time, he was full of happiness, and he was always happy. The night before he died, he was grumpy. He was really grumpy. I mean, I don't know if he had a bellyache or what was going on, but he was just really, really grumpy. And of course, he was in the living room with me because it was late at night, and he was just really grumpy, and nothing was making him happy. But I was working on a letter to some friends, and so I was kind of not, I was paying attention to him, making sure he was okay, but at the same time, I wasn't giving him my full attention because I was focused on a letter. Anyway, because I was working on this letter to other people, which was an important letter, but I don't know that it was definitely not more important than David. But I finished up my letter late at night, and David was asleep on the couch, and so we went to bed. My wife was asleep, I was asleep, and then about 6 o'clock in the morning, my wife had got up for the day, and she came in to check on David, and she came and woke me up, and she was frantic. David wasn't breathing. So I jump out of bed and go see David, and he's on the couch, and he's blue. I've never seen a human blue before. I don't know that I've ever seen, well, other than at a funeral home. I don't think I've ever seen anybody that was dead in the real life. So, it was quite the shock to see David there. He was bluer than I've ever seen a human being. I started giving him CPR. He was only 5 months old, so I just had to use 2 fingers, and I was breathing in his mouth. My wife had called 911, and 911 was talking to me on the phone, so they were walking me through it. I was giving him my 2 fingers, the CPR compressions, and I was breathing in his mouth. And as I was breathing, his color came back. He started to look like a regular baby again, and his color came back. So, I was giving, by blowing into his mouth and giving the compressions, I was giving him oxygen. But, so I had hope, and I was praying, I was praying and asking God to save him, and, what would a parent be saying to God at that moment? That's what I was saying, whatever a parent would say at that moment. So I gave compressions until the ambulance came, and finally the ambulance showed up, and they take him to the hospital. All the way to the hospital, they're giving him compressions and trying to, give him oxygen until they can get him stable, try to get him stabilized. He's definitely dead, but they're trying to bring him back to life. Nobody knows how long he was asleep. I said asleep, but I meant how long he had passed away. But they keep giving him compressions. They get to the hospital. The doctor, finally the doctor sees him, and they pronounce him dead. And they come and tell me and my wife that he's dead. We were devastated. The police were looking for us. Why were the police looking for you? Because it's just, it's common when a baby dies that young that they automatically suspect the parents. So they have to question us to see if we had anything to do, if we murdered our child, basically. They wanted to talk to us. But me and my wife are devastated. And we're just, the police are looking for us. We disappear. We go out to the front of the hospital, and there's a little area. And we just sit on the ground, and we pray. And we ask God for comfort. And basically, after we prayed a few minutes, and we're both devastated and just out of it, God opens our heart and reveals to us that it's okay. He said, it's okay. It's okay. David served his purpose. He might have only lived 5 months, but he served his purpose, and he's a witness. So you need to strengthen yourself and be strong, because it's okay. He's fine. He's where he needs to be, and he served his purpose, and he lived his life, and he did what his purpose was. And after God told us that, I looked at my wife, and we comforted each other, and we got our strength back, and that gave us courage, and that gave us comfort to do what we needed to do, and to go back in and talk to the police officers. And eventually they released us to go home. And of course, we had the funeral right here at this site right here, and then we came here and let everyone else other than our immediate family went to the funeral home, but everyone else we didn't allow anyone else to see him other than immediate family. And then we all came here, and we had a rabbi perform the service. Of course, my family is all Baptist, so having a rabbi do the service, my family probably thought we were weird, but we felt like having a rabbi do it, even though we're not Jewish. And we had a rabbinical rabbi come and do the service for us. After the night we buried him, we asked the cemetery if we could come out and just have some personal time, like late at night, just me, my wife, and our kids. And we did. We came out here and we sat around here, put some candles out for David, and we sat around and we talked to each other and comforted each other, and spent that an hour or so just sitting here talking to David and spending time with him, and lit some candles and thought about him and his life and what he meant to us. But yeah, that was David. What a blessing. He only lived 5 months, but he did his purpose. And that was all any of us can hope for, do your purpose. And he did it. And he's in a better place. I know that. I know he's where he needs to be with God, and he's there with him. And one day we'll get to see him again, and I'm excited to see him hopefully soon. But I also bought this rock. It's a little rock. It says faith on it. So I was looking for a rock this little rock says faith, so I was going to leave this rock for him. So I'm going to do one more thing. I never played with toys with David. I know if he was alive, he'd be 16, but when we passed away, he was 5. So we never got to buy him any toys or anything like that. The only thing he owned in this whole world was his clothes and a Elmo blanket, but he laughed. He would just laugh. I could tickle him and he would laugh. He was the most joyous baby I don't think we've ever had. Yeah, he was upset sometimes, like the night before he died, but that was, I think something was going on with him that night. I think he knew what was going on, and I wasn't paying attention. But with that said, I miss David. David was my heart. Matter of fact, his tombstone has a heart on it. Not only was he my heart, he was my wife's heart. And I hope my wife watches this, Stephanie. I hope you watch this and know that David, you remember David, and you know that this story is true, and you know that I love you, and I love David, and you know what we went through with David, and how God spoke to us. I hope you remember that, and that's what's given us comfort all these years. So we were sad he was gone, but we didn't mourn him, and we knew he was in a better place, so we were able to keep moving on. But we still miss him, and I just wonder what he would look like today at 15 or 16. But I know he's with God, and that's okay. But anyway, I never got to play with toys for him, so I kind of, I'm in aviation. I like airplanes, so I bought him an airplane. I was gonna put that airplane together and kind of play with it here with him for a second, because I never did. I thought, why not? Why have I never come? Why have I never put flowers? Other people have put flowers on his grave, but I personally have not. And I've also never come here and just sat down and had a conversation with him. So I'm also going to have a conversation with him and tell him some things that are on my heart about our family and my wife, whom I love, by the way. And I miss all you guys. But I'm going to get that airplane. I'm going to play with it for a few seconds here with David, and let's do that. So here's the airplane. It's some pieces, so I'm going to put it together. One more little tidbit. My oldest daughter's name is Michelle, and she had a son. I think he's 6 years old now, but his name is David. David's a sweetheart, and David smiles a lot too, and he's always happy. But Michelle named him after her brother David, so I really appreciated that. So even though I'm not going to get to play with this, I mean, I'm going to play with this airplane here with David, but he's not here to see it. But I know he's in heaven, or not in heaven, but wherever he is. And what I mean by that is, I know people believe that when you die you go to heaven. I believe when you die you go to the future, where you wake up and you're with God in the future. That's my belief. If you want to call that heaven, that's fine. I believe that he's in a future, and he's already here on this earth seeing us in the future, because when you die, time no longer is a factor. You immediately go to whatever your future holds with God. And I believe that future is that he's here on this planet with Jesus, or Yahushua, and built this airplane. So I'm going to play with this airplane here with David, and then I'm going to take this airplane to my grandson David and play with it with him. So kind of in memory of this David, and that's just what I felt like doing today. Am I crazy? Am I weird? I don't care. You know, I do weird stuff, and this is just my way of just being weird and being a granddad and being a father. All right, David, I hope this airplane flies, and then I'm gonna go, if it flies good, I'm gonna take it to your uncle David. All right, let's fly this airplane, David. And I appreciate you guys joining us. All right, David, we're gonna do this one more time, and then I'm gonna get out of here. Actually, I'm gonna sit here and have a conversation with him, but that's a private conversation. But either way, I appreciate you guys joining us. I'm gonna fly this airplane one more time for David. I appreciate you guys sharing this moment with me. You know, sometimes people are like, why do you do all this stuff on your YouTube channel or on your TikTok and stuff? Because sometimes, you know, it's good to witness to people how you feel, so that people know that, you know, I like to do this, not just for me, because my family, you know, my TikToks and my YouTube is also for my family, so they can see it. And I just want people to know, and I want to witness how I'm feeling. And, you know, I like to outwardly express my emotions, and making videos is one way to do that, and share it with other people. And by the way, I think that this story would help someone else out there, someone else who might have lost a child or a loved one. And I hope that my story is inspiration. And like I said, that little rock that I just put on here, it says faith. We got to have faith, and that's what this is about. So I hope that you guys get something from this, and it means something to you. And I appreciate you guys. Thanks for joining me. This is Jam's Ventures. I'm Jam. Please have a great day.